Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is TWiT Live Special number 272 for Sunday, February 21st, 2016. Samsung Galaxy Unpacked 2016. This TWiT Live Special is brought to you by Gazelle, the online marketplace for buying and selling used gadgets. Shop from a variety of certified pre-owned electronics or trade one in for cash. Give a new life to a used device. Visit gazelle.com today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to TWiT Live Special number 272. I'm Jason Howell here of All About Android and a couple of other shows on the TWiT network, and we are here today to kind of talk a little bit about Samsung's press event at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. They have their Galaxy Unpacked 2016 event happening mere moments away, and we're going to cover it piece by piece. Who knows if they're going to break out into a Broadway musical or what we're going to get. And by the way, that's probably they're never going to live that down because they did that once. I doubt we're going to see that today. But I have on the line right now Ron Richards, someone you might be familiar with if you watch All About Android. How's it going, Ron?
Good. How's it going, Jason?
Going awesome. Just kind of sitting here getting comfy, getting ready.
I am prepared to never forgive Samsung for the Broadway Unpacked event from a couple of years ago. I will always bring it up whenever we talk about Samsung. Yeah. But that said, I'm excited because they've been teasing this black cube with blue highlights all week. We've seen people getting to see what's inside it, and it seems like we're going to find out what's going to be inside it in mere moments.
Yep, so we've got the black cube. You know, you had hypothesized that might be a call to the VR aspect of things because you saw cubes like that were preview booths for VR when you were, where were you at? Was this CES?
It was at CES, specifically the Oculus Rift booth was a very large black cube with blue highlights looking almost exactly like what Samsung's been teasing. And given that Samsung has been in a partnership with Oculus for the Samsung Gear VR, it seems to be like a pretty good guess. And also we're seeing, I saw our All About Android co-host, Florence Ion, in the audience at the event in Barcelona say that everybody got a Gear VR headset at their seat waiting for them at this event. So it looks like there's going to be a VR component to the presentation. So who knows what it's going to look like to us watching the live stream, though.
Samsung's going to have a hello, Ron, Leo Laporte here. Samsung's going to have a real challenge, though. Did
hey,
you
Leo.
see what the LG did with their VR headset? It was very impressive. You don't actually need to connect the phone into it. You just connect it via Type-C cable. And with the bandwidth of Type-C, I think that's going to be the future, frankly, of VR headsets. The Gear VR, which requires you put a Samsung phone in there, is maybe not quite the thing to do. And I wonder if Samsung was taken off guard by that.
Yeah, this is a really interesting looking VR headset. Also, like we're so used to the phone-sized,
screens
wide,
are built in, so you don't have to worry about the resolution of the phone. Right now, not phone independent. I think the G5 actually is a really LG announced it earlier today, of course, and in the middle of the night for us. So we had to wake up to see it. You're looking right now at the Samsung event, still not underway.
But a few clues we were pointing out earlier. They've got embedded in the logos. They've got a watch. They've got a phone. Those are kind of expected.
What a surprise.
They also had a VR goggle in there, and tying into the VR goggles that everybody apparently has in the audience. We had heard also rumors that there were going to be, and I don't know if this is going to be true, but who knows, free VR with pre-order of the Gear VR. So
the Gear VR has got to be cheap for them to make. They're starting a video now. Featuring old phones. Unfortunately, the stream is a little bit. Here we go. Let's go right to it. Kind of the history of the smartwatch.
Nice.
Very 80s.
Yeah, it's going to happen, I suppose.
We're not the only ones joining this stream.
Well, Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, look at that. Well, that's dates it, right?
Yeah.
Was that a real product or is this fantasy? I guess that was a real phone.
I mean, they look pretty real, but I don't know the history of Samsung's phones necessarily since before Android, other than they all looked very flippy.
The stream had been pretty stable before this.
Yeah,
I think as it's beginning, a lot of people are joining. Samsung is streaming this live on YouTube.
Gear S2.
Interesting how much they push Tizen here versus Android Wear.
Right, well, the Gear S2 watch is running Tizen. It looks like they're kind of showing that off. Could you see them kind of split away entirely from Wear and just go all in on their Tizen?
Samsung seems a little too conservative.
They like to kind of play around with things and really experiment with all the different options so they don't get their hardware to speak to itself.
You can bring up their audio just slightly behind us that way. We're doing this in a different studio, and there's going to be a few glitches. Right here, the dramatic cube effect.
They're really all in on the cube.
We have a team course there.
That's right. Father Robert's going to be checking in throughout the week on things he's been seeing. I know at least, especially on Tech News Today, we're going to have him on Tuesday and Wednesday to kind of give reports from the show.
Okay, look for Florence. Look for Florence.
Thankfully, they don't have their VR headsets on, so we should be able to see their faces.
We've come a long way from the chamber music of a couple of years back.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of wondering is, are we going to see a big flashy show, or are we just going to kind of get to the product? And with Samsung, you really don't know. They go both directions as far as that's concerned. But looks like they're going full orchestra this time, maybe.
Oh, there it is.
Is that an orchestra, or
There's
is that
an
just
orchestra
people in the back?
there. Oh my God.
That might just be people in the back
That looks
watching.
like an orchestra. Is it just people? Maybe it's just
Yeah, I think maybe it's the VIPs. They basically get the on-stage experience.
Please give a warm welcome to the stage, President of Mobile Communications Business, DJ Co.
It seems like the stream is kind of cooperating at this point.
They're really trying to make us look like the Oscars, I think.
Yeah.
Co is new. He joined
Thank you.
in December.
Thank you.
Remember J.K. Shin
I'm
from last
delighted
year.
to be here today, surrounded by an amazing audience and joined by millions of people watching online. It's an
Co was
honor
responsible for
part of this
Knox and
great
Samsung
company
Pay
as we take
then promoted
the
to
next
mobile
big step forward
a couple months
to
ago.
a galaxy of new experiences. When I joined
Samsung Pay, by the way, 5 million users in half a year.
I
Yeah,
never dreamed
surprising
Not
success.
too
really.
bad.
on a stage like this in front of so many people.
So that was a good
My
effort.
first job at Samsung was to manage an R&D lab where
This is back
we
in
developed
1984 when he joined the
telecom
company.
and fax technology. I took the
As
job
the facts might
to
indicate.
help support my parents and my family. I've come a long way since then.
Shin continues
We've
as
all come a long way since then.
the co-CEO of Samsung, so he's not out. He's just no longer.
In 2007, I became the first person without direct engineering experience to lead tech strategy and R&D at Samsung. What I have learned after leading the launch of every Galaxy S device from the first generation to the seventh is how to listen and when to make a
Over the
bold
years, a
decision.
curvier corner
As a company, Samsung has learned how
from
to
squircle to
listen
curve.
and make bold decisions too. As we've gone from
listened, and
telephones and faxes
You've
to
asked.
become a pioneer of mobile technology. From the start,
I think it's probably
Samsung has
important for
devoted
Samsung
itself
to establish
to
that they're not
delivering
newcomers to
value
this,
and joy
No,
to
absolutely not.
our
as Apple is, by the way, and Google.
Our beginnings were humble, but our ambition has always been greater. We innovate and pioneer to overcome obstacles and realize what others only dream about. Our commitment has always been to listen, to understand what you want, to enrich your lives and connect you to the experience that you care about. Now, as president of Samsung's mobile division, I feel a deep responsibility to hundreds of millions of people around the world who love our product and inspire our work. I believe that we can transform our customers' lives with technology that demonstrate the lasting values of the company. Adapting, challenging, collaborating, and improving. I embrace this new responsibility with pride and confidence because I know we'll never assume that we know everything or presume to tell our customers what they should want. I believe we are something better than all-knowing.
Something better than all-knowing?
We are human. We are
Human is better than all-knowing.
Maybe. All of our human failings.
I might choose all-knowing.
We are human in our passion to listen, learn, and understand.
So you're going to put the SD card back and remove
in the
the battery?
uncharted
Is that what
territory
you're going to do?
where human effort and technology progress meet.
I suppose as humans they learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
So
There was no problem.
if removing the SD card was seen as a mistake, and it was by many, then the rumors point to it being included again. I'm not sure if I've heard whether the battery is still is going to be removable.
You know, LG's is.
You achieve it.
Yeah.
LG's is, and they have had a kind of interesting design. The G5 has a pop-out bottom.
And
well, yeah, with an expandable, kind of like modular design underneath.
We've seen that before. I don't know if that'll take off or not.
I'm not sure
intrigued by the
will
4,000
but
milliamp hour battery in the.
It's one of those like nice to have the option, I suppose. But I wonder how many people are actually going to use it.
And join us as we enter a new galaxy of unlimited possibilities.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put on your Gear VR.
Oh, geez. By the way, those Gear VRs are connected to something.
Oh boy.
So they're a little different than the Gear VR you have, which is
VR on.
Yeah.
Please put the hands up.
This is going to be the red and green glasses picture of the 2010s.
The next cover of Time.
Not another one.
Potentially. Now we won't be enjoying this in 3D, but you can imagine. This looks like Eve. No.
Now, of course, Samsung is not the first to do part of their, their keynote presentation reveal. Oculus did this. OnePlus did this with the OnePlus 2.
That's right.
They had
the
kind of cardboard reveal.
I remember we were sitting there. Yeah.
To mixed results because it was streamed, and so some people lost the stream halfway through, and you had to start from the beginning again. We get a little bit of a visualization of what the cube actually means to this whole story.
Cube. Maybe it's a square phone.
It's a TV. We're going back to the old CRT television. No.
That was very Christopher Nolan-esque.
Yeah.
Right?
That is Batman music, definitely.
Inception.
Samsung begins. In a world where all the phones are curved, we've invented the cube. No, that looks just like a S6 Edge right there. And now, it's one better. The S7 Edge. Made of metal. Just like before.
When it comes to
it was glass, wasn't it?
When it comes to innovative design, does the S7 Edge still have it? What do you think? I mean,
I like the Edge a lot.
I like the Edge too. I remember when it first came out.
It's not very practical, but when you look at the S6 without the Edge, it's like just another phone.
Exactly.
Looks like a metal back. That's one thing LG has done. They've gone back to metal as well, saying they have a new form of fabrication that allows antennas to go through.
Please take
Which is
off your
important.
VR headsets.
Okay, that's it.
That's all it was?
That's all there was.
Man.
I'm about to barf now, but thank you, Sam. Oh, there it is.
It's like everybody's seen it up close and in person because they were in VR. They don't have to wait for the press room. They could just explore it now.
So S7
It is my
and
pleasure
S7 Edge.
to introduce the Samsung
Very similar.
Galaxy S7 and Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge.
Gallops. Come on.
These are the devices
It's a bit
these
annoying.
are
It's
the
a fairly
devices
big crowd
happy
if you're not
people.
watching
that
live.
come from reimagining what a phone can do.
It does look like
What
metal.
a smartphone
It looks like a
can
chrome
be.
front almost, the way it's shining, but maybe that's reflection. I think it's metal.
Now-
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Silver.
Please welcome my colleague Justin to the stage.
Its predecessors
to
were
learn
glass.
more about
In fact,
this
that was the
beautiful
big design
devices.
change last year, was from
Thank you very
plastic
much.
to glass backs. And the same with the Note 5.
Which glass back always has a nice look to it, durability-wise, though.
Justin Dennison.
You really take a hit there. All it takes is a
Everybody
little
puts it
drop.
in the case, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering now how much
DJ.
the design of the external
It
is
is
that
so
important.
great to be here with all of you.
True.
And I'm excited to tell you more about what our team has accomplished.
Sales guy.
We didn't just refine these devices. We reimagined what they could do.
They keep saying
based on how people
reimagined.
use them.
Yeah.
That
and
seems
what
to be
they
the key
need most
word.
Doesn't
from
feel like they reimagined it.
Doesn't it all?
Our customers were the inspiration for every innovation and every bold decision.
Waterproofing is back, according to The
Whether
Verge,
an
which is good
elegant line
news.
of code, a beautiful curve of metal and glass, or the ambitious new features
5.5
that
inch
truly set
display.
these devices apart. S6 and S6 Edge were true innovations, but the S7 and F7 Edge take an even bigger step forward. Take a look.
By bringing back.
I wonder
we
where
took
you
out
go with the
before.
S7 Edge Plus. I have mine right here. Is this the S7? I don't know what that is. I like the, it's not a 7, it's a triangle that makes a 7. Both phones, according to The Verge, have SD card support. 32 gig internal only, but SD card support kind of ameliorates that. There's the
about-
wireless charging.
What about USB-C? I think it's actually...
IP68 water and dust resistance. That means 1.5 meters of water for 30 minutes. That's good. Sealed ports.
Yeah, sealed ports for that.
No more plugs in the ports, right? Yeah.
I hope not.
Not Type C. I'm a little
Yeah.
disappointed. It's
No Type-C.
it's USB, micro USB.
Thank you.
I wonder why the decision to stick with that, other than just that it's a widely adopted
These devices have become an extension
technology
of
at
who we
this
are.
point. USB Type-C is still
So we've blended design
kind of
and
merging in.
technology. We not only thought
Well,
about
I
how
guess
they
it can
look,
continue to work with their
but also
VR.
how
yes.
they feel.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's
We
compatibility
spent
with their
months
other hardware.
perfecting the 3D thermoforming process that brought metal and glass together seamlessly from every
That's
angle.
pretty.
We applied tone-on-tone design so that the natural lines of the phone
Snapdragon
carried through
820,
from
as
back
one
to
would
front.
expect.
And
Not
now,
Exynos in
the
North
camera
America.
is nearly level with the glass.
Exynos
Samsung's
globally.
actually
Whoa.
doing the fabrication of the 820.
This is a phone that not only looks great, but feels great too.
The camera is level
Because we
with the
take these
glass.
devices everywhere we
Flush
go.
is important, isn't it? The
We
people
want
really
them to
don't
be
like those
comfortable
camera
in our
The
bumps.
hands.
bump. Yeah, no more bump.
When you hold
There's
the
a bump
S7
on-
and S7
Why the
Edge,
bump though?
They feel
Is
like
that
they've always belonged
just
there.
because of the size of the
Size.
optics?
Yeah.
So then when you
Smaller,
make it flush, do you
thinner,
need a thicker body to account for
smoother
that?
edges and
I think
sleeker lines.
all the phones now are getting flush,
But the
which
screen
seems to me
size
that they've solved the
is just
sensor
the way you
figured it
like
out.
it. Big and immersive. You'll really notice it when you're multitasking.
3,000
with the
milliamp
S7
hour
Edge.
battery in the S7. That's a
And by
considerable
multitasking,
jump.
I don't mean
And 3,600
Yeah.
milliamp hours for the
I mean,
S7
sipping your
Edge.
morning
That's pretty-
espresso
That's
Great.
1,000
while you're going
milliamp
through your
hours
daily
better
newsfeed.
than the S6 Edge. That's
Now, we
that
usually
sounds
use
like
our
the
phone
one
with
you
only
want.
hand.
I wonder why. It's funny
But
that they
that
can
can
get
be
more in the
challenging with a larger
curved one.
Well, the
We
curved one
thought
is
the
a
design-
Oh, it's bigger.
larger,
It's 5.5
larger screen.
inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it easier to use when you only
go.
have
That explains
one
it.
thumb to spare. With the S7 Edge, you can do more faster. thanks to the new and improved Edge panel.
I find
Just
that
slide
completely
your thumb
useless.
across the edge, and the Edge
It's got
panel
a double
glides
row
onto the
of
display.
icons now.
The wider panel allows for richer content, and it's easier to read.
Twice as many icons.
And
yes.
last month,
Oh, look at that.
we opened up the SDK on these devices.
Okay, so you can't put notifications
including
in
the
that.
Edge panel.
Slide in.
So you're going to see a bunch of great third-party Edge panels. And I encourage
Or it's
all
going to get really
developers in the
noisy
audience
really
to check it
quickly.
out.
Yeah.
There's also a new feature that I personally love that lets you create your own shortcuts on the task edge, like Text DJ. It's a great way to bring the things you do most often
So this
right
is a
to the front
way
of the
of
action.
kind of multi-windowing.
And we've got a great new feature for those of you who are constantly checking your phones.
The extra features on the edge
Did you
aren't
know
necessarily locked
the
into
average
just the
person
edge. They
checks
all
their
extend
phone
outside of the edge. it
150
seems
times a
like.
day?
Whereas I feel like on the first,
Well,
you really have those
I'm
things
one of those
built into
people.
just the edge, almost to justify that the
fact,
edge was there.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm tempted to look at my phone right now. I think it might have buzzed.
Remember, this is the third Edge phone they've made, and
Yeah.
so the first was the Note, and then the S6. And so theoretically,
And
they
yet
would
almost every time we reach
get
for
better
our
at it,
phone,
understand
we
it
have to
better.
Wake it up with the button press or type in a passcode.
Interesting.
even
Verge
get
is
the
saying the
most
camera
basic
is
information.
fewer megapixels this year. We'll
It
find out
shouldn't
more
have
about
to be
I'm
that
sure.
way.
Maybe
And
that's
now,
why it's flush.
It won't be.
Brighter 1.7 aperture.
Always on display provides useful information.
This I like too. The G5
like
does
time
this as well.
Or missed call, even
and
when the phone
LG is saying
off.
that will only
And it does it in a power
reduce
efficient
battery
way.
by 0.8% an
Thanks to
hour.
our super AMOLED screen technology and unique power saving algorithm. It's smart enough to know when your phone is face down or in your pocket. That's when the screen goes dark.
I think that's an improvement. I like
My
that.
colleagues love this feature when they're getting ready in the morning.
It speaks to
And
how
they
many
just
people
don't
keep
have
their
free
phone
hand
on
to
a
spare.
table while they're eating or
For me,
working.
it's about business
Absolutely,
etiquette.
it's changed how I get
You know the
notifications.
situation.
You know,
You're in a
the
meeting,
little blinking light used to
you're at
be
lunch.
a necessity as far as I was concerned, and you just get so much more information this way. As long as it's not attached to the battery,
Wake
then
up your phone.
say bring it on.
Now, just give a quick little side glance and check the time without
A quick
touching
little
your
side
phone.
glance.
Super subtle.
That's all you need. Although always on is pretty cool. That's if they can do it in a way that's battery efficient, then that's pretty neat.
Remember, the Moto X kind of pioneered that with the ability to kind of tap the phone or wave your hand over it. But leaving it on all the time is great.
I mean, I will say sometimes the always on can be a little bit troublesome
You want to
if
match your lifestyle.
what you're doing is like
if you don't check
moving
your
your phone to
smartphone
put
as
it in
much
your
as I
pocket
do,
or whatever, and
constantly
the always on
relying
is
on
on. Like I
that
find
means
that my hand accidentally
be
glances it at that
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
and it's
Now,
not
you know
intentional.
what I
But
mean.
then I end up with the screen on
want our
and
phones to go everywhere with
swiping a
us.
notification or whatever, which is not what I
Water
wanted.
Samsung took a big hit last year with lack of waterproofing on the S6. I don't know why. I guess people use their phone in wet environment. I don't really.
Adding bulk.
I'm not sure, but it apparently is a very
We didn't
important
want
feature
to
to some people.
compromise,
Yeah.
So we innovated.
So this is back,
We
waterproofing.
reimagined what was possible.
Really, it's one of those features that
Instead of protecting the device from the outside,
is almost
we thought,
is beneficial
why
if you
not
can
seal
pull it
it
off.
from the
Why
inside?
can't you put that into every phone?
took a
As
lot
long
of
as you're
effort to
not
make
doing
this
the thing
work,
where you're
but it
covering up the
worked out to
ports
be
with the
a
rubber
very
little
elegant
plugs
solution.
and that sort of stuff.
These beauties are water resistant.
Because we want our
Rated
devices to last a long time,
IP68.
and occasionally they fall in the toilet.
This
Sorry to
probably
say.
has something to do with
30 minutes
the
submerged
manufacturing
in a meter and a half of
process.
water.
Yeah.
The screen is really part of the. It's not just stuck on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can use your phone in places you never could before. You also told us that you didn't want to be fixed into a fixed amount of memory, and we get that. So thanks to some powerful innovation,
I think the focus on listening to the consumers on this whole is
There's
a
the
big
SD card.
differentiator. I think in this, like
Yeah.
you told us you wanted this, and so now you get the slot
Yeah.
back, and
Yeah.
you know.
it lets you expand your storage to meet your needs without compromising on design.
I think that's also a response to
Because we know
Google
what you know.
changing
Yep.
how Android
Sometimes-
worked.
Yep.
Google really didn't want people to use SD cards.
Right, and then they've kind of come around on that a little bit. Although they aren't building it into the phones that they do with the Nexus devices, but they've definitely improved support for it on the system level.
So we took storage to the next
And
level.
I think that's a good thing. That makes a lot of people happy. That right there
Oh,
is going
it
to
does
make a lot of
me,
people
yeah.
happy.
It also makes it
That goes
easy
for
to
the camera,
transfer
too.
phones because you can
Most smartphones
move your data
now
right over.
Yeah.
are optimized for daylight. I mean, that's half our lives. But what about
Half
the
our
other half?
lives are at night.
Some
the
of our
dark.
favorite memories happen at night. We wanted to redefine the smartphone camera so that you could take a great quality picture at any time of day. So we asked ourselves, what will it take to create a camera that takes high quality pictures in low light? Why can't we build a camera unmatched in the day and unfazed in the night?
I think that's correct. That's the real.
The answer
That's
is
where
we
digital
can,
is so
and
challenged.
we did. With Samsung's track record of relentless innovation, we knew we were up
Using
for the
Sony
challenge.
chips.
After all, we introduced the first mobile phone with an integrated camera way back in the 90s. And the
Those
S6
pictures
Edge
are probably the size of a thumbnail at this point.
that we created
Bitmaps.
was the best smartphone camera in the world. DxO gave us the highest mobile score for outstanding image quality.
Last year it did have a good camera.
So, we
Was a
started by
Sony
adding
part.
a brighter lens.
I wonder if it will
In
be this
fact,
time.
it has the largest aperture of any of our smartphone cameras.
Good.
That is huge. F1.7
Yeah, it's
is
important,
very
yeah.
fast. I'm trying to remember what the
The
iPhone
larger
6 is.
aperture lets in more light. But even if you let in more light, you have to have bigger pixels to absorb
I'm
it.
guessing 1.92.
Yeah,
Bigger
the-
pixels
Apple's
equals
f2.2.
better
so-
pictures. Our competitors will agree with that. But Samsung
Want to see
took it to the
OIS,
next
of
level.
course.
The pixels in our light-absorbing sensor are 30% larger than those in the iPhone 6s Plus.
So we need less.
Now, let's compare the two photos taken exactly in the same environment.
Yeah, this is the
Jeez.
same argument that HTC used, that Google has used in its 6
I
Plus,
see you've noticed how much brighter the one on the left is. That's the S7.
6P.
It's really obvious when you take a closer look.
And it's true, we
Ours,
don't probably need more than
sharp
12
and clear.
megapixels on a camera.
No.
phone.
Well, I'll let you be the judge. That's
That
what
looks
bigger
photoshopped.
pixels and
It
a brighter
kind of
lens can
does,
do.
but I think what
Doesn't
it
it?
is it's the light projecting
I know that was a
from
lot,
behind.
but we didn't
You
stop
can,
there.
obviously you can kind of
didn't
tell
just make the pixels
the way
Yeah,
they're
these
framed, if they're side
comparisons
by side.
really are unfair.
You never really know. You
Now,
never
you
really
have to
know
take
the
pictures.
methodology there.
You're trying to take a photo in
You
low
gotta kind
light.
of take their word for it.
By the time your camera has focused, you've missed the moment. This happens all the time in low light conditions because the autofocus
Certainly happens
doesn't
with
work
my
fast enough.
6P.
But with the S7 and
Slow
S7 Edge,
camera.
we've become the first to embed professional camera technology called dual pixel into a smartphone. It works like human eyes. When you're looking at something
Canon
with both
apparently
eyes,
uses this in their cameras.
They take
but,
in
and I
information
had thought the
independently.
iPhone was using
and then
something
your
similar,
brain
but I might be
combines it
wrong.
into a single image. But if you're only using one eye, it's harder for your brain to see depth and to focus quickly. With the S7 and S7 Edge, 100% of our pixels are used to focus. And every single one is configured with 2 eyes. Now compare that. Oh,
I see. So Apple is
Thank you.
doing it, but they're
compare that to the iPhone 6s Plus, and
Not
you'll
doing
see
it
why
with
they're
all
so
the
slow to
pixels.
focus. Less than 5% of their pixels are used this way. Now, take a look at the images above and pay special attention to the highlighted area. A kettlebell is going to drop in the foreground, and I want you to notice how much more
I want you to
quickly
move
the
your foot.
S7 achieves focus. Are you ready? Did
Yeah.
you see the
Wow.
lag in the iPhone 6s Plus? It can be the difference between catching the perfect
Interesting that
moment.
this is all
and watching it
comparing
go
to the
by.
iPhone and not to any other Android phone.
Yeah, but
I
isn't
mean,
that
it's clear who they think they're that they're competing with Apple.
isn't that the well? It
Well,
is the
yeah.
case. They aren't
Dual
competing against anybody
We've
else.
gone leaps and bounds beyond
They're
what
the
people
number
thought was
2
possible.
phone company.
And I think you'll find it makes all the difference, especially in low light.
I have
Now,
to say the S6 was a
here comes my
superb
favorite new
camera and
feature.
arguably the better
It
of the
takes
two.
the wide
compared to the
angle
iPhone.
experience to a whole new level.
How was the speed on the S6?
Call
It was
motion
fast.
panorama.
Yeah,
So
I
let's check it
really
out.
like the camera in the S6 and the Note 5.
Now, usually, when you take a panorama photo, it's a static image, and it shrinks down to a thin strip on your screen. But motion panorama fills your screen. And it doesn't just capture the scene, it captures the action and the excitement.
And really, where
And the
Apple's
feeling
secret
of
sauce
really
lies
being
is
there.
not in the sensor at all. Everybody's
Now, let me
using the
show
same
you what
Sony sensors. It's in the software.
The post-processing.
Yeah.
Panorama
Yeah, they've
of my
got that
living
really
room
dialed down.
to show my folks the new furniture I bought. But without motion panorama, you miss what really makes my furniture mine.
Right. What does make it yours?
That's my
Is
pup
that small
Winston.
animal on it?
He's claiming my brand new couch is his, but motion
that's cool.
panorama caught him in the act.
This is
So as
similar
you
to
can see, these
something that's
devices
been.
redefine
Samsung
the
likes to
smartphone
put
camera
kind of
experience.
gimmicky stuff in its camera software.
And if you're feeling especially creative,
They had this with a
you can get
3D
an optional
kind of
cover
effect
with
last
wide
year.
angle and fisheye lenses. So
Oh,
you
they're
can
selling them
really bring
themselves.
your pictures to life in style.
Add-on lenses. That's interesting.
You're getting what's easily the best
they
smartphone
attach?
camera on the market.
It's got to be
And you're getting a
magnets,
bunch
right?
of new and creative ways to have fun with it.
Yeah, or is that an
And to
that's like a
capture anything
case,
you
a
want,
case attachment?
anytime
Almost
Oh, yeah,
you
because it
want,
looked like a different.
without
looks like a
limitations.
shell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty impressive. Now, what's also impressive is how powerful the hardware is. Now, we know you expect powerful performance from Samsung. You expect a phone that can keep up with you, whether you're watching a video, or playing a game, or doing both at the same time. We've delivered that in the past, but I have to say, this time we've outdone ourselves. With every new generation of the Galaxy S series, we've made significant improvements in processing speed, and these phones are no exception. The S7 CPU is about 30% more powerful than its predecessor.
It's the 820 in
We
the
also added
US.
an improved
It's an
GPU,
Exynos
which does the heavy
processor
lifting
in
for graphics.
the rest of the world.
It's about 60% more powerful than the one in the S6.
It's not clear which one he's talking
And
about.
now,
Right.
your phone can run fast without running hot.
Because we have a heat
S7's
pipe.
new cooling system is built with a technology first used in rockets and satellites.
Called a nozzle.
Right.
There's a tube containing a liquid that vaporizes at high temperature.
It's liquid cooled.
And then
Wow.
condenses at lower temperatures.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of like air conditioning for your phone.
That's pretty
I
awesome.
mean, how cool is that?
Huh. I see
Oh,
what he did
man.
there.
Dad
These
joke.
devices are incredibly powerful, but they also
And he knew it
require
too.
a
You
lot of
saw it in
power.
his face.
We know battery
This is the
life
Steve
is a big
Ballmer of
deal.
Samsung. Let's
That's why
admit
we
it.
say our
In his
phone
head, he
is
heard his kid say,
about to
"Dad."
die. I mean,
How
that's
cool
how
is
grim it
that?
feels. With these devices, we've broken new ground. We engineered batteries that were incredibly large in terms of amps,
I have to say that
but incredibly small in terms of size.
the S6 Edge really looks like
Thank
the
you.
phone I would be interested in, just for the
That's
battery
it.
life, yeah?
Yeah, no, I mean,
3,600 milliamp hours is a lot.
they've done a
So
good
they
job
fit perfectly
definitely
into your
touching on the
slimmed-down
things that
phones
people
Right.
while
really
giving you
are
the power
caring
to
about
go the
right now.
distance.
Battery, of course, that's a really nice size battery on the Edge.
Strides we've made,
The SD card slot, bringing that back so that people get the extra storage that they're looking for. The better low light performance, the camera performance. I mean, these are all things that regularly, year after year, people are saying these are the important things that need to improve in devices.
The long-lasting battery and cutting-edge processors make this the most
Looks like he said you can
reliable smartphone
comfortably binge
you've
watch a
ever
whole
owned.
season of Game of Thrones
did
at
say
a
that.
single charge.
I doubt
And they're
that.
optimized for gamers too. So now you can play with greater confidence.
Well, whether that's only,
Instead of worrying about
what, that's
battery
only 10
life,
hours. How many
slow
Yeah, that's
shows?
a good question.
That's not
Yeah.
that
You
long.
can focus on the
Come
game.
on.
But you frame it like that, it sounds pretty
All of
impressive.
these advances in graphics set a new industry
Oh,
standard
they're
as
supporting
well.
Vulkan. That's interesting. This is
That's
the new
because the Galaxy
OpenGL
S7 and
replacement.
S7 Edge are the first smartphones with Vulkan API, the next generation
That's very
graphical
interesting.
interface, which was brought to life thanks to a partnership between Samsung, Google, and the Kronos Group.
Interesting.
Now,
Yeah, this
every
is a
single
just
developer in the
announced
room nodding their
the
heads
project to
everyone
replace
else
OpenGL.
like me
It's
is
a
saying,
low-level graphics
"What?
drivers, kind of like DirectX.
I get it. If you're like me, you don't know your Vulkan from your Voldemort. All you
Another
have
dad
to
joke.
know is that Vulkan delivers a PC-quality gaming experience on a device you can hold in your hand.
I want to rip the patches right off his jacket for
We've
that
also
one.
added a few other features to address some key needs for you gamers out there. We now
It
have
does
a
mean
game
it'll be a good
launcher and
gaming
game
platform,
tools,
right?
which let you
If they have
control
hardware
everything
support for
from
Vulkan, that's
battery
pretty
usage
impressive.
Right.
to interruptions. You can block out calls and texts, so you won't be disturbed during your gameplay. And you can lock certain keys, so that you don't accidentally kick yourself out of the game with a key press. It's social, too. You can record your on-screen play or use screen capture. to
Wow,
preserve
this is a
your
lot of
creative
functionality
memories.
Wow.
for gaming. You know?
You can record your.
We have a
Wow.
Galaxy Game as a special deal.
Can I stream to
that
Twitch from my
includes
phone?
over
the next step
$200
right
of
there.
in-game currency for the biggest mobile games.
That's
to
actually
kickstart
really
your
smart.
gameplay.
This is very smart. This really
devices
shows
are
the
easily
movement
the
from these
best in mobile
platforms to
gaming.
mobile
But don't
to
take my
basically
word for
your computer, your desktop.
Our next speaker put the epic in Epic Games. He's been building games since the early 90s, and is going to talk to you more about the quality of the gaming experience on these devices. Please help me welcome
Epic always seems to be
Epic
on the
Games
stage
founder
for these
and
companies.
game development Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you're right.
Tim
It's
Ferriss.
always Epic. They must make the most partnership deals of any game company. It used to be EA, but now Epic.
So then this Vulkan support, is this kind of like NVIDIA's Shield with the NVIDIA chip that certain games have to be
No,
created
it's not
with it?
hardware. It's software. So it's basically bare metal drivers. It's kind of like metal. It's for Apple.
got
It's
it, got
bare
it.
metal drivers for gaming that let you really do a lot more in graphics. It's for gaming. It's OpenGL replacement basically.
But do you require a phone? I guess what I'm wondering.
I can't believe they're putting it on a phone. I mean, it really is designed for desktop computing. I mean, look at this celestial mechanics we're seeing here. These are on a 5.5-inch screen. It's not
Right.
But I think what it's showing you is that they don't expect it just to be 5.5-inch screens. That they're for VR,
Right.
and perhaps even a continuum-like feature where you. I wouldn't be surprised to see them say, "Oh, and by the way, you can connect this to a 27-inch display." I mean, this is desktop quality gaming they're going for here.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Well, I feel like all of these things have to be towards the VR side of things. I mean, yeah,
It must be,
project-
yeah.
putting it
Must
up on a
be.
big TV would be great, but
Yeah.
I think with the VR stuff, I think this is all the underlying architecture for that.
There's another kind of reason behind going with Vulkan. It doesn't work with Apple. By the way, that's a great shot of me. Hi, everybody. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, Apple doesn't support it.
Are committed to working together long term to advance the state of mobile gaming.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is our developers going to have to specifically
No.
write for this? And
Low level they will.
Okay.
Low level they will. But developers use engines. So in a way, that's what you're seeing here. This is our engine. And our engine will use Vulkan, and you will write your game to that engine. So you'll get the benefit of it. Most developers aren't writing directly now. They're writing to engines.
I would like to see graphics like that working while I've got 16 apps updating in the background, while I'm syncing with my email, while, you know.
Yeah,
airplane
forget
mode,
that.
Ron.
Forget
Airplane
that.
mode.
Yeah.
I know.
And we think you'll be too.
It's interesting because Android doesn't directly support Vulkan. So
Right. That's kind of my
Yeah.
curiosity on this. Is it's nice to have it built into here, but well,
you'll see it
Samsung
on-
has such market dominance that you're going to see
yeah.
developers.
And NVIDIA is a part of this team. So
Yeah.
as you said, you'll see it in the Shield and other
Wait, there's
things.
more.
But there's more?
In the U.S., Europe, or other
Pre-order.
select countries, you'll get a Gear VR as a gift when you pre-order.
Yeah, see, that's interesting.
The rumor was accurate.
Well, and I need that
hardly
because
believed it.
my
but-
Gear VR is sized specifically. They
Yeah.
did make it a universal one-size-fits-all, right?
These
But the one I
devices
have
are
is
yet
sized for
another
this
example
older
of how
S6.
Samsung
So
innovates to meet your
I need a new
needs.
Gear VR if I'm going to get this.
And we don't
Might
stop
have
there.
to do this.
Now let's invite DJ back to the stage to explain.
My wife is
how
sick
all the
of her
devices
5X.
work together
Her
to
5X
redefine
is
the
like,
future
Yeah.
of Galaxy.
she can't stand it. So,
DJ?
I think this is a phone for somebody who cares about aesthetics.
Yeah.
This is a great phone. I really think it's the most beautiful phone made. The S6 was, and the S7 looks even better.
There's no question. that
Hope you're enjoying our
S7
coverage of
and S7
Samsung Unpacked.
are the most
One of the kickoff events of Mobile World Congress is brought to you today by Gazelle. Good timing too, because I bet you're thinking, how can I get rid of this old phone and buy a new one? Well, that's where you go. Gazelle for trade-ins and to buy. In fact, Gazelle now offers financing on all its devices from a firm. You simply provide your basic information. You'll get instantly approved. You can pay in 3, 6, or 12 months. Easily monthly payments through bank transfer, check, or debit card. And you can do that all right there on the Gazelle site. Just check out and click the box financing with the firm. They also offer now 12-month warranties for cell phones and iPads powered by Assurance Solutions. That means you get coverage for cracked screens, for water damage, hardware defects, and more. And of course, 24/7 help directly from Gazelle to process claims and return your device. So now you can buy from Gazelle with complete assurance. Get it? Dad joke. Gazelle.com. Give new life to used electronics today. Trade in for cash to buy that new phone, or buy certified pre-owned and save at Gazelle.
So Google did announce back in August of last year
Support for Vulkan.
support for
but
Vulkan.
it is not in Marshmallow. I think it's not till a later version.
Yeah, no, it
You
doesn't.
could turn up DJ.
Yeah,
that
more convenient and more fun. But that is just the start.
I just want people to know they didn't miss anything during that commercial.
We are also here to show you that today's smartphones are not the end of the line for this category of devices. The S7 and S7 Edge. Each one is more than just a smartphone. It is the gateway that links you to new opportunities and the center of seamless experiences that start from a single point and expand to include new worlds. We believe in a universe of unlimited options.
Android One was one of the announced partners for Vulkan, so I apologize. Vulkan is for Windows, Linux, and Android, not Apple. But I don't think it's incorporated yet into Marshmallow.
What your phone can do. And meaningful partnership.
This is, of course, the first hardware to support Vulkan
the
out of the box.
experiences you can have.
I mean, literally, Vulkan was just launched officially less than a week ago.
At the center. I do not want to boast, but I would like to say no company is in a better position to
And of course, these phones will come with
vision
Marshmallow 6.
than Samsung.
They had better.
Did they announce when pre?
No, I
We
haven't seen a date or price yet.
Ground in payment. A year ago, when we introduced Samsung Pay, that went beyond NFC and worked on the terminals merchant already used.
Big talk from Samsung on
In
this.
addition
No
to
other
being
company is
already
positioned to
available
do these
in
sort of
Korea,
things, tie services and products and partnerships,
It's, of course, not true.
A lot of boasting.
Samsung Pay will be available
Well, and silly,
in
given that
countries, including
Apple's doing this,
Latvia,
and
Spain.
as is Google, really, with Android Pay.
Now, with Samsung Pay and S7 Edge, we are forging new frontiers with a mobile wallet that will transform.
It's going to be
how
tough
you
to
shop
choose
and
between a
pay
G5,
almost any place
which
you
looks
can
really good, the
tap
LG
or
new
swipe
LG
a
phone,
card.
and the S7
The
Edge.
universe of experiences we envision is so vast that no single company can realize them all. So we are delighted to work with great partners like Epic to deliver mobile game
saying March 11th is
experiences
the availability
that few
date, but,
have dared
yeah.
imagined.
Yep.
No
We
word
are
on pre-order
working
yet.
with Google, our special relationship partner, to transform business mobility. Building on Knox, the most robust mobile security platform in the industry, we are weaving security into all aspects of Android. Many
Secure
of our
element.
partners are creating applications hardened by Knox to maximize security.
They are the Apple of Android in the sense that they have this secure enclave, this Knox. They have.
Security and privacy.
They also really discourage
The result
rooting. I mean, it's very hard to root these
freedom.
Samsung
It is.
phones.
It was once not as difficult as it is now. Thankfully, there's less reason to root these days.
Yeah.
You know, the devices are kind of doing what they need to do out of the box to kind of answer the complaints of a lot of the people that were rooting to begin with.
And introduce new categories. Let's talk about the Samsung Connect Auto. Built on Samsung Knox LTE for connectivity and the Tizen operating system for interoperability.
They mentioned this
Samsung
before. They
Connect
wanted.
Auto is the most advanced connected car service on the market.
This is not exactly competing with
With a
Android
simple
Car. I'm not sure exactly where it
It
sits.
looks like automatic, actually.
Yeah, it looks more
a
like
little device
automatic.
that goes in the car, like a dongle.
Yeah.
The exciting world of connectivity is immediately made available to you and to your passengers. From advanced entertainment to advanced diagnostics, we are working with leading mobile operators, insurance companies, automakers, and rental car agencies to
It's an
bring new
LTE
seamless
dongle for the
products
car.
and services that
Yeah.
Oh,
make
that's interesting.
driving safer,
Oh, that's very interesting.
cleaner, and more fun.
There's no reason why you couldn't use that OBD2 port to power an
Since we
LTE chip. I
live
think
in a
there's enough
three-dimensional
power.
world, we are also accelerating
That's a good question.
innovation.
Don't
and
leave your
progress
car
in
parked
virtual reality.
and unused for more than a week. You'll return to a dead battery.
Oculus to deliver groundbreaking virtual.
It's worse than leaving your lights on.
Now,
Yeah.
in 2016, we are leading the way as a virtual reality takes you beyond the borders of your physical presence. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Gear 360, a 360-degree camera that will transform the way memories are made and experiences are shared.
Interested to see what price point they hit on this.
Mystery will tell you more about how we are creating
You
new
can see lots more of these 360 cameras, but there seems to be really two very different price points, $30,000 and $300, and nothing in between. This is more like the Theta, it looks like. It had two lenses on one on either side. Not quite the what was it, the Osmo?
Is there a lens on the top as well?
I don't know what that was, something. Oh, looks like it can be real time.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So they have people in Paris with the camera showing somebody, I guess, at home.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage
The Gear 360. Was this expected?
We'd heard about the Gear 360 kind of leading up to. It was certainly a possibility, but I didn't.
Thank you all for joining
Yeah,
us
the last
tonight.
couple of weeks I haven't heard a whole lot of talk about it.
DJ is absolutely right.
Makes sense though.
With Gear
Yeah, it has
360,
two
what we
15-megapixel
have created is a new
sensors,
way to tell stories.
fisheye lenses.
A new way to capture
The thing on the top is it actually display.
Oh,
Galaxy
okay.
S7 and S7 Edge are at the very center of this experience. 360. Because the real world is not in one direction. It's everywhere. All around us. Kind of like this stage. We started this 360-degree journey
Yeah, this is the
with Project
version of
Beyond,
it that I remember
the
seeing.
first true 3D 360 camera system. It is our most advanced camera, and it carries our research and engineering DNA. We gave you a glimpse of it last month at CES.
This is one of the reasons
And over the past few
GoPro
days,
stock has been
We have taken
tumbling.
it all over the world to big
Everybody's
events
chipping away at
and some beautiful
Because
places.
the GoPro option is ridiculously expensive. There's
Right.
no
Project Beyond is an
consumer entry
extraordinary
point
tool
for
for all you
GoPro. It's going to be this
professional
now.
photographers out there.
If I had to guess, I would say this will be under
what about the
$500
rest of
bucks.
us?
I'm guessing, yeah, around there.
Why
$400 or
can't we capture
$500.
those everyday moments and enjoy them with friends in much more immersive way? Now we can.
Samsung doesn't necessarily
With
do,
Gear 360.
quote, cheap.
Right.
We designed Gear
but they also
360
want
to
it to
help
be
you
accessible.
tell your story.
That sounds about right to me.
To capture
In a briefing
those
they
fun
gave to
parts
Engadget,
of
they said
life
available
in new
between
ways.
April 1st and June 30th in select
Here is a video I
countries.
recently got from my friends.
But
They're
I love the
definitely having
idea
fun here
you
in
could stream
Barcelona.
live to a Gear
And
VR.
because they are using Gear 360, we can see everything, the full picture.
Who knows? Next year's keynote, we
This
might
is
be
a
in the
new
audience.
Kind of camera. It lets
Be in the
us
studio
virtually
wearing
travel
a
from
Gear
one
VR.
place to another.
I like how it's bringing back the mid 2000s
That means the
webcam
next time
aesthetic.
when I go hiking
Remember those
in
Does
little
look like a
round
California,
webcams?
cam ball
Yeah.
I
cam.
can bring along my
Logitech ball
family in
cam.
India.
I think
They
this is
can see
really
what I
interesting.
see. And in a way, they can join me on that hike. My parents are going to love this.
If they don't throw up.
So now, I really want to show you how beautiful this is.
As long as they have the goggles on at the exact moment
here
you're
it is.
hiking.
Right.
Gear 360.
It looks like it has a built-in tripod. You're right, it does
handle.
really look like that
kinda
Logitech
like
webcam. But there's lenses on either side, wide-angle lenses. Of
A
course, you
small
still have to
sphere
stitch
packed
those
with the
together.
best of our technologies. 30 megapixel combined from the two powerful lenses.
It's
like
very
a-
high res.
It's like
An
a
aperture of
360-degree
f2.0.
HTC Re.
So you can capture
Yeah.
the scene no matter where you are. And it is seamlessly connected to your Galaxy S7
Can you stream
and
it
S7
live
Edge.
to YouTube?
You can preview live what you are recording. You can see your 360 photos and videos directly from your phone gallery and post them seamlessly on your social media. But let's also talk about VR. Now, you can create
It's interesting, they're pitching it as a still
virtual
camera
reality
as well.
experiences on your own. And your S7 in your pocket will do all the software magic and prepare your videos to be watching on Gear VR.
I mean, for the wide public, that's probably the greater
Gear
use
360,
case. You know what I mean?
There's only one question we need to ask.
A little bit less demand on
Where should we go today?
people. You're just taking 360 pictures versus hey,
Right.
I'm going to live stream
Today we
something to
can
you.
capture 360
Make sure
degrees
you have
of
your
light.
VR on.
We can create immersive experiences that put you in the center and transport you to the places you always wanted to go.
But you have to stand in the middle of the frame
This
and
new
look
world
astonished.
of Gear VR and Gear 360. It's more than virtual reality. We call it other reality. And with S7 and S7 Edge at its center, we are truly redefining what a phone can do. So now how about I give you a demo of this new world?
Samsung's really saying
And to do
instead
so,
of trying
let's
to
once again put on
work
the
in a
Gear VR
universe
that is in
with
front of you.
other people's watches, other people's cameras,
But
we're
this
going to
time,
create a Samsung
let's look all
ecosystem
around.
like Apple has done and
man,
use our
that's exactly
Tizen
right.
watch.
Up, down,
Use our. If you're going to use our camera, you'll need to use our phone. If you're going to use our VR helmet, you're going to need to use our
Keep
phone.
watching right until the end.
And by the
It's
way,
a
our
bold.
phones
It's bold. It's shooting the moon. It's deciding instead of we're gonna try to create our own ecosystem.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with Android either. You know,
Right.
they haven't said Android, I don't think, once. And
No.
it's
They
kind of
mentioned
what
Google, our fine partner or whatever,
Right.
but special friends. February 21st. Oh, that's today. This is in Barcelona. Wow. So the people in the audience are wearing Gear VRs and observing this. I don't know if it's live or pre-recorded. Probably pre-recorded.
Yeah, must be.
I really want one of these. But remember, you'll have
Ladies
to have an
and
S7.
Yeah.
Please give a warm welcome
Yep.
to founder and CEO of Facebook, Mark
Buying into the
Mark
platform.
Zuckerberg. Okay, now remember, Facebook owns Oculus.
Yeah.
Oculus is the powering technology behind what Gear VR does.
Right.
And in fact, it goes the
2014
other way
was the partnership,
around.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be here. It's an honor to be here today. You know, I started learning how to program computers when I was 11 years old. And I still remember sitting in my middle school math class, writing out code in my notebook, because I didn't have a computer with me, and drawing sketches of a world where instead of just navigating to 2D websites, you could transport yourself entirely to a whole nother place and feel like you were really there in reality. And since then, I've been interested in this idea of virtual reality, and I've been waiting for the day to come when we could deliver this experience. Now, today, thanks to this partnership between Samsung and Facebook, this is now possible, and that day is here. And it wouldn't be possible to deliver this experience at this scale and this price without Samsung's experience and excellence in hardware and systems, and all of Facebook's experience delivering software, and of course with Oculus technology. At Facebook, we think about giving people richer and richer tools for sharing and experiencing.
I think you'll be able to stream
everything that
from
they
the
want in the
VR camera
You know, going back
to,
about 10
to
years,
Facebook's VR
Yeah.
most of what we
implementation
shared
in the
Of course you will.
newsfeed, and that's a huge
course you will.
partnership
Yeah.
if that's the case.
And then it was
By the way, I'm looking at this Connect Auto, which is also very impressive. It is an OBD2 dongle that gives you your car LTE Wi-Fi. An older car, any car built since 1996, LTE Wi-Fi.
So you're traveling
That is
Wi-Fi
remarkable.
hotspot.
Yeah.
right there in person.
Wow.
You know, I think about my baby daughter and the way that I want to remember when
Poor
she
Max
takes
is
her
going to be
first
the
steps.
example.
Forever.
When I took my first steps, my parents just took a pen
So this
and wrote
whole
down the date in a baby
Facebook
book.
thing is what we all thought when they bought Oculus,
my
is that at some
cousin,
point they'd
when
create some
her
way
son
for you to
took her
VR
his
access
first steps,
Facebook, and
Right.
looks
Took
like
a
through Samsung.
photo with the
That's-
camera.
that's-
Well, it makes sense for Facebook to be
My sister,
agnostic. They're going to
when her
probably
son
work
took
with
his
everybody.
first steps, she took a video on her
But
phone.
again, Oculus, before they were acquired by Facebook,
But
used Samsung
I wanna
technology
capture
in
the
the
whole
Rift
scene.
headset.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
So, you know, I hope that we can take a 360 video. So that way, even if my parents
I'm
and my
all in on
family aren't
360
there to
video. I mean,
experience
the
it in person,
Theta S was a
they
revelation.
can feel like they're right
Yeah.
there
And,
with us.
Yeah, some of the
The ability to do that live
Yeah.
would be
VR
fantastic.
is the next platform
I'm sad that it's Samsung
where
only.
anyone can create and experience anything
Although-
Yeah,
that they
that's
want.
Well,
limiting.
when you post to
Right now,
Google,
VR
to
is still
YouTube
mostly
or
used for games
to
and
Facebook, you could use cardboard.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it may be that
One day you're gonna be able to
Zuckerberg is the bridge between these
That's
technologies.
going to change the way that you live and work, and communicate.
Certainly, he doesn't want to be Samsung only.
No.
Imagine being able to sit in front of a campfire and hang out with your friends anytime you want. Or be able to watch a movie in a private theater with your friends anytime you want. Imagine holding a group meeting
virtual theater.
or event anywhere in the world that
With
you
light
want.
effects on the chairs.
All these things are going to be possible. And that's why Facebook is investing so much early on in virtual reality. So we can help to deliver these kinds of new social experiences. VR is going to be the most social platform. Now, that's also why we've worked with Samsung to deliver Gear VR.
Second only to real life.
Gear VR is by far the best mobile VR experience. And that's because it combines the best hardware from Samsung with the best VR software from Facebook with Oculus. Samsung is the only company in the world that can deliver at scale the low persistence OLED screens that are required to give a good, comfortable VR experience. And that's because these OLED screens are the only screens that can update
Do we have a
faster than your
resolution on
eye.
the screens?
No other screen
Quad.
and display or
Yeah, they're
company
the
can
same
deliver this
resolution as
experience.
last year. Quad.
And how do those
Samsung
look
is the leader
in?
in designing and shipping hardware.
trying to
like the
remember,
Gear VR
like-
quickly
They look
and
okay. You can still see a screen
pixely.
door.
And of course,
You can
we
still
use-
see a screen door
we use
effect.
Oculus software to
God, I'm
deliver
really looking forward to the
other
time when
aspects
that's
of
wiped out.
high-quality VR,
Yeah.
like head tracking, really
That's
fast
gonna be
rendering,
a big step.
360 sound, and of course a whole ecosystem.
That's only because
That's
you're
asking a
you're-
lot for our phones.
It's only because you're inches away from it.
Yeah.
You can see that. I mean, it's a it's dual 1080p screens, but you're right in front of them.
Yeah.
Now, we've
And
also
magnified.
worked
Not only
Right.
are you in front of them, the
Gear
the
VR
lens is
affordable.
blowing those up.
Last summer, Jay Lee and I went for a walk, and we talked about how we can bring this experience to the most people possible. And after that, we decided to target a $99 price. And we worked hard to refine the hardware to make this possible. And the results are in, and it's already paying off. Because this year, millions of people will get their hands on a Gear VR. There are already more than 200 games and apps available for Gear VR in the Oculus Store. And here's a new stat for you. More than 1 million hours of video have already been watched in Gear VR. So we've only just started to explore what's possible with video in VR. And as we work with Samsung to build this experience for Gear VR, we're also working to push the whole state of the technology forward. So, over the last year, we've been working to make Facebook the best platform for 360 videos. And video is already some of the most engaging content.
By making
that you'll
every
see on
video
the web.
autoplay
There
all the
are
time.
already every day more than 100 million hours of video content are watched on Facebook. But 360
Those
videos
numbers.
are even more immersive. 'Cause
You're watching our live
watching
coverage of the
passively.
Samsung Unpacked
You feel like
event
you're actually there.
at
You're
Mobile
actually
World Congress in
surfing
Barcelona,
into
one of the first events
flying into Blue
before the
Angels,
Congress begins tomorrow.
exploring the surface of Mars.
We're going to break away and go to the tech guy in about 5 to 10 minutes because we do have to. That's a network obligation, but you guys will continue on.
Yeah, we'll continue.
You just won't be able to watch it live on our live stream, but we will offer it as a
More than 20,000 of them have
produced
been uploaded.
version later. I'm sorry about that. Blame Samsung.
It's still really early for 360 videos. And we're only a few years into experiencing this kind of high-quality 360 content. But one day soon, all of us are going to have the power to broadcast live what we're doing whenever we want, so that way our friends and families and the people we care about can experience it as if they're right there with us. But of course, to get there, we're going to have to solve a lot of really complex technology and engineering.
This is going on way too long with Zuckerberg.
An example of an important breakthrough.
You don't tell Mark.
Dynamic streaming for video.
It's like
Mark,
get to the
you've got
point.
4 minutes, and
You know what? You're going long. We're going to cut you off, Mark.
play the music.
Yes.
Get the hook.
And this allows us to deliver the video with a much higher resolution and quality.
the 360
about 4x,
camera, does that
while
have-
also reducing the
I mean, I'm
overall
assuming
bandwidth
Wi-Fi
consumed,
access,
for
but does it
streaming the
have
video
any
by
sort of a
about
mobile
4x.
or streaming
this is
through
just
the
one
phone?
example.
Yeah, it goes.
Of
You
how
watch in the
Facebook is
phone.
driving
Oh, you're
all
wondering
this
if you do
VR
live
software.
streaming from
So
the phone.
yeah, could you
I
do
presume
live
you could.
360
Why
streaming
not?
like out of the middle of?
You
Why
gotta
not?
link to the phone though. That's the
Yeah.
You have to have
So
it.
it's
You
synced
have
to
to
the
have
phone.
on all Samsung. You probably have to have the watch
There
too,
are
just
lots of other challenges
to
that
be
we need
complete.
to do to
Get the full
VR
armor.
experiences. And Facebook, with Oculus, are committed to this for the long term. We've recently created new teams at Facebook to build the next generation of social apps in VR. And there are hundreds of incredible content titles coming to the Oculus store this year, including Minecraft. And since the Oculus team joined
wait a minute.
Facebook, we've put
Did he just say
hundreds
Minecraft's
of
coming to the
He
Oculus
did,
VR?
yeah.
Take that, HoloLens.
progress than the industry would have otherwise.
Considering Microsoft owns Minecraft.
I know.
Best VR experiences.
HoloLens won't be out till sometime next decade, but you could do it now in a VR. That's good. I'm glad we're building our ultimate VR gaming machine because I want to play Minecraft on my Gear VR.
We'll never get Leo back.
You won't. That's
gone forever.
And we are proud to be working together on this. Thank you. And now here's DJ Co again.
Wow.
All right, there you go. Mark
That was
Zuckerberg.
unexpected.
It was not
expected, but what did he announce? He didn't announce anything.
he
just said that Facebook is doing it.
Yeah, but I think it's important because it shows it'll support it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to do a. Go ahead, show this. Why are you cutting away from this? You don't need to see us. This is a selfie. Selfie opportunity.
The awkwardly long 10 to 15 second handshake.
Yeah. Hey, at least they didn't touch four fingers like Tim Cook and
true.
Bono.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, that's awkward every time I run across
your
it.
leadership and your bold vision. We look forward to working with you to bring this incredible future
Looks like they
to
might
life.
be close to wrap.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
At Samsung,
You
we've
had
been
Mark. What
leading
more
the
can you do, right?
progress and innovation in the mobile industry for almost 3 decades. Every device we deliver, every service we offer, every experience we make possible comes from our commitment to find the doorways where most people see barriers. It is great to step beyond the boundaries of the world we know today and discover a universe of new possibilities. So we will keep breaking down barriers. And
Well, you know what the price is.
Yeah, that's
And-
about
and
the
you
same.
know
Although
what
they
the-
had hinted that there have been rumors that it
Inspiration
might be a little less than it has been
and
historically.
That doesn't look
But-
like an inexpensive phone.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
thank you all.
DJ Ko, who's in charge of mobile at Samsung, the new head of mobile. And Samsung wrapping up their Samsung Unpacked event in Barcelona, kind of one of the kickoffs. I guess LG had its event earlier today.
Got the biggies out of the way early.
Yep. And of course, MWC begins tomorrow. We will be there with Father Robert Ballasser, and our coverage will continue all week. They announced, of course, the S7 and the S7 Edge. 5.3 and 5.5 inch,
Yeah, 5.1 and
respectively. 5.1 and 5.5 inch, respectively. Added SD card support, an always-on screen, of course, a much faster processor, and announced support for Vulkan, the new gaming technology, and paid some attention to the fact that games were going to be a big part of the future of the Samsung Galaxy line. They also announced that they would be making a new 360-degree camera.
The Gear 360.
That would be supported only, it looks like, by the S7, but we'll have to see that. And also said that with pre-order of the S7, they didn't say when that would be, but once you pre-order the S7, you get a free Gear VR with it, headset with it, which is smart. They're really building that ecosystem. They briefly touched on a Samsung Connect device that will attach to your OBD2 port and add connectivity to your car, including LTE Wi-Fi.
Samsung Connect Auto.
And Mark Zuckerberg closed things out.
No price on the camera? No price on the
No price on any of it.
anything.
Or
Yeah.
availability.
Yeah.
But that's not unusual. I don't think they did that last time either. You can almost always assume it's $700 ish.
Yeah.
And availability, I would guess what the rumor was next month, right?
Yeah.
And I would guess that's probably about right. We want to thank Gazelle for supporting our broadcast today. Don't forget, if it's time for a new phone or a new device of any kind, you got to bring the old one to Gazelle. You wouldn't want to throw money in a drawer and let it gather dust. Don't throw that old phone in the drawer. It's worth money at Gazelle.com. You can get a 30-day quote right now, guaranteed locked in for 30 days. And don't forget, you can also buy now some pre-owned devices, including iPhones and Galaxy phones. Each device fully inspected, backed by a 30-day return policy, sold without carrier contract, but they work on all the major carriers. And now you can get financing from Gazelle via Affirm Very simple. Do it right on the site. You can offer, you can pay in 3 or 6 or 12-month installments, easy payments through bank transfer, check, or debit card. All you have to do is select financing with Affirm at checkout. That's nice. Plus 12-month warranties covering water damage, cracked screen, hardware defects from Assurant. That is very nice. Gazelle, GAZELLE.com. I'm going to run over and start the radio show. If you guys want to wrap it up.
Sure.
We thank you all for joining us on this Samsung event. Thank you, Ron Richards, for coming in godlike in the middle of this panel.
Summon Ron Richards.
It was good to be here. It's fun. If we
Jason
can't be in
Howell.
Spain eating ham, it's good to be with you guys virtually.
This is pretty close, yeah. Of course, Ron and Jason, the hosts, along with Florence Ion, who is in Spain, of All About Android. Every
Eating
Tuesday,
ham on.
5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on TWiT.
That's
Go
right.
ahead. You guys wrap it up. I'm going to take off.
All right.
And get
Cool.
ready for the radio show.
Have fun on the Tech Guy.
Thank you.
All right, so Ron, I know we're going to talk at length about this on Tuesday's show on All About Android, but where do you stand? I mean, I don't know. As far as Samsung is concerned with their announcements, they don't necessarily go completely out on a limb anymore. They play it kind of safe, but I think that they made some kind of resurrections of old things that they've gotten rid of, let's say, that were good choices.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was interesting. Somebody on Twitter actually kind of challenged me after this past All About Android saying, oh, you're covering the Samsung event? Dude, why are they going to have a hater cover it? And I'm not really a Samsung hater. It's just that I'm not a big, huge, like Florence Ion is a big fan of Samsung. That's her daily driver. That's the phone that she wants to use. But I will say, watching their presentation today, yes, they're bringing back some things that were previously available in other phones, but the context they put it in that we listen to our users, we listen to our customers, you told us you wanted this. Like that's all. Those are all vernacular that is really welcome to hear. It's that you wanted more storage space, so we gave you back an SD card. You want more battery life, we increased the battery life. It seems as if they're responding to the demands of their customers, which previously I always thought Samsung was just packing stuff in just because either they thought it was cool or because they thought it was the right thing to do. But listening to their customers makes a better product. So that was refreshing to hear.
Yeah, that is one thing that we did not hear today at any really much length at all, that we've been very accustomed to hearing from Samsung at these events for their flagship devices, which is all of the software improvements. You heard nothing about Android. You heard very little about anything happening inside the system, any sort of mention of TouchWiz, let's say. You didn't hear any of that stuff. It was really geared, no pun intended, towards the integration of its phones with all of the other hardware that it's working with. It's almost like they went from a strategy of innovating on like software whiz bang features, and instead kind of went for a strategy of taking those advanced features in software and instead applying it to hardware to crosstalk between their devices. Now, granted, that really benefits the people who are cool with handing over their money to just Samsung for all of these things. But do you think that's a successful or a good strategy for Samsung?
Well, I mean, clearly, we talked about during the broadcast, clearly they're positioning themselves to compete with Apple. So, they see their number one competitor is Apple. And what has Apple done? Apple has built this whole ecosystem that you buy into, that you buy an iPhone and you use iCloud and you do all this sort of stuff. And Samsung really stressed the fact that, they're building a platform of products and services and partnerships that, with these devices, whether it's your phone or your VR goggles or your watch or your tablet, that Samsung is the only place you need to go. And they're really trying to position themselves in that this is the island of Samsung, and we invite you all to live here because we think we've made some pretty cool stuff. And they have. It's just whether or not you want to dial that deeply into that platform or not. Particularly for me, I don't know if it's enough to get me to jump over. But I think this is a refreshing direction other than previously where they focused on like we joked about the Broadway performance. That was all about the software. That was all about all the bloatware that they're putting on the phone. And I think it's smart that they've dialed it back and they're focusing more on the features of the hardware. And what I thought was interesting was that DJ Ko said, this is not the end of the line for smartphones. And that's something that we've been talking about on All About Android, which is, where's the innovation? Where are the changes? Where are the, it just seems that we've just been iterating on the same ideas for so long. And I don't think the S7 announcement here was a huge innovation or a huge change. I think they're just making the battery last longer. They're making it run faster. They're still just iterating on old ideas, but hopefully they have more ideas coming down the road if he made the point of saying this isn't the end of the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now it does look like, so official release date, March 11th. Pre-orders begin in a couple of days on the 26th, from what I can gather here at 8 a.m. Eastern. You can start to pre-order. And of course, if you do pre-order one of these devices, the S7 or the S7 Edge, you get a Gear VR thrown in for good measure, which I think is a pretty darn good deal.
Well, that's a great way to get people using the platform. And the thing is that, like, you might say, I know that for us, like when the Gear VR came out, we're like, oh, this is great, but how much does it cost and what do I get for it? Now they're taking the cost off the table. If you pre-order, you get it for free. And then what can I do with it? They just had Mark Zuckerberg telling you all the great things you can do with Facebook. I was actually, during the presentation, I was talking to a friend of mine who is affiliated with the larger grouping, and said that the amount of work that Facebook is doing behind the scenes to support VR, like people won't even it's baffling, and that this is just the beginning of people realizing what Facebook is doing to support this. So that should be interesting to see how that develops.
This is largely the year of VR becoming slightly more mainstream. Who knows how mainstream, but there's a lot of companies really kind of going all in on it right now.
Yeah, I think mainstream is still a little ways off. I think what we're seeing now is we're coming to the edge of the early adopter. And now we're going to move into the true like mainstream early adopter kind of market. So
I suppose what I mean is more mainstream awareness rather than, you know what I mean? Like now it's starting to be spoken about and by enough people and enough companies that the average person now actually could ask themselves what VR's back, like what's different this time, and there's a conversation there again where there was not for a really long time.
Yeah, just don't give us another time cover like that kid jumping.
Yeah, please don't. I don't know. It'll be a picture of all the people in the audience at the Samsung event wearing their goggles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very interested in this, and the Gear 360 is a pretty cool kind of add-on. Like I just kind of want that. Period.
Well, yeah, no, I think that has a lot of wantability to it. I mean, it's just a cool little device. That it stinks that it's going to be Galaxy only. Like I'd love to see that work with other phones, but I understand why they would do that. It's competitive advantage. But I think the price point on that is going to be really great. If that camera comes out and it's $800, is it still that wantable? I feel like maybe $300 or $400 is the price point for that, but even that is expensive. So I'm more curious to see what the price is going to be on it, but it seems pretty cool. I feel like that's the product GoPro should be making.
Surprising that they're not, right?
I've got to imagine they have in development. I mean the $16,000 chandelier VR rig is cool, but like it's not accessible. Like the reason why GoPro was so accessible is because they made that little camera that was affordable and people put it on their skateboards and everybody made all those videos. It would be amazing if they did that for VR. So
3840 by 1920 resolution for still images for the Gear 360.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then, I think that's really about it. Samsung Connect Auto with LTE, which also gives you a little bit of a traveling Wi-Fi hotspot.
That's cool.
Kind of interesting. I don't know.
It's a different approach with Auto. We haven't seen that kind of, because, Android Auto is the Android operating system for your car. We've seen things like Automatic, which is a little dongle that gives you stats about your car and things like that. But bringing LTE to the car, that's pretty cool.
Cool.
The gaming stuff on the Galaxy. I just want to go back to that. The Vulkan, the Vulkan integration, as well as just like I mean, Vulkan is cool, but I was really impressed with the number of we were talking about. They didn't mention software. Where they did mention software was the ability to not interrupt your game, like block calls or limit keystrokes or limit things like that to focus on it. Like they're really saying, okay, people are using this as a gaming platform. Let's support it from a software standpoint, which I thought was interesting that they called that out.
And people will continue to use this even more as a gaming platform if their big push is VR. This is all in an effort to really kind of hype things up on the hardware side and the software side underneath, so that I think the VR experience is even better. It's a wave right now. VR is totally a wave right now, and Samsung, thanks to getting into the game early a couple of years ago, and it was kind of a kind of an eyebrow twister at that point, kind of going, what, why this, why now? You can see that they kind of played their cards right, and they have at least a couple of years of experience in this. So they know what makes that experience better, and, bringing kind of Vulkan and kind of the graphics and experience, elevating all of that just makes for a better experience in the VR environment. Not to mention just handheld gaming, which is probably where the majority of people are going to notice a change right off the top. Very cool. I'm very interested to see when Vulkan kind of rolls out to Android as the platform. Now that we know, that Google does support that system-wide when it gets rolled into the OS, and then everybody can have a piece.
Yeah, cool stuff though. But I liked. I think that the approach was good. It was subdued. It was a little boasty, but you're up there. You got to boast. That's the whole point of this, is the boast.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it was in terms of previous Samsung presentations. I give this one good marks. I give it like maybe a A-, B+ around there.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly happy. I'm happy with what I saw, and I think that I think you're right. They listened to their customers. And brought out hardware that I think is meaningful improvements for a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to be happy with what they saw. So, hey, now I gotta figure out if this is the phone, if the S7 Edge is the phone that my wife's going to get to replace her 5X. I'm not quite sure. I might want it more for her more than she wants it for her, but we'll see.
It's a good test. It's a good test to see how it works.
It'll be like Homer Simpson's bowling ball.
Exactly.
With my name on
it.
You
get Jason etched in the back of it, right? Yeah.
I'll be like, we better pre-order, because then you get the Gear VR, and then you'll never have your phone again, because I'll be on it. Cool. Any last words, Ron? Or
this is my Mobile World Congress week. It's gonna be fun to see what other announcements come out of it, and continue to be jealous of the ham that Florence and the other folks they're covering in Spain are getting. But this is a good way to kick it off. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks watching can of course watch Ron and myself, usually Florence on as well. Although being that she's in Mobile World Congress, she's not going to be on this upcoming Tuesday on All About Android. But you can always catch us over there at twit.tv/AAA. Ron, anything else you want to plug before we say goodbye?
Not really. Just catch us on All About Android, and you can go to about.me/RonXO, where you can find links to follow me on social media, and that's where you can find out about all my other stuff. So
awesome stuff, Ron. Thanks for hopping on to talk Samsung.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you on Tuesday.
All right. See you, Ron. As for me, I am about.me/Jason Howell, at Jason Howell on Twitter. You've been watching TWiT Live Special 272, the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked event for 2016. And that's all she wrote. Big thanks to Leah Laporte for stopping in for the majority of this as well. And I don't know, stay tuned all week. We've got folks on the floor at Mobile World Congress all week, recording stuff for different shows. We're going to have some stuff from Mobile World Congress from Father Robert on Tech News Today with Megan Maroney every day for the most part this week that they're there for. So, keep tuned in, and we'll be sure to bring you a whole lot more. I'm Jason Howell. Thanks for watching the TWiT Live Special 272. We'll see you guys later.